Hey, what's going on again, everybody? John here with Knight and Shining Armor Paint Correction, Ceramic Coatings, and Detailing. Today we have a little bit different video. This is going to be one of my top 5 lists. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 tools. And this is part of the DIY Tuber series. So without further ado, let's get talking about my top 5 favorite tools. And these are in no particular order. These are just my top 5 favorite tools. And one of my first tools is something a lot of people might not have heard of. This tool is called an inductor. The thing I like about the inductor, and this came from my body shop days, is there are so many uses for this tool. You can remove glass with this tool. You can remove emblems, badges, decals. There are so many uses for this tool. And the cool thing about removing badges or emblems with this tool is if the emblems or badges are new enough, you can actually remove the badges and this double-sided tape will stay on the emblem and it'll still be sticky. So if you can cover that up, you can actually reuse the existing emblem. And that's a really cool thing to do. My favorite thing to use, or to do with that tool rather, is to remove giant decals. So what this tool is, it's a giant electromagnet that's got a dial on it. You can adjust how you use it, the different attachments for it. They are not cheap. Last time I checked, they were still about $1,300 for an entry-level one. I've had mine for about, I don't know, probably at least 15 years, if not 20. And when I transitioned into the detailing part of my life, I kind of brought it along, and it was a really cool tool to have. It's come in very handy when removing decals and badges, like I said, and it only works, little side note, it only works on metal panels. It won't work on fiberglass. It works a little bit on aluminum, and it'll get hot, but not near as hot is what it'll do to steel. And you do have to watch. You can actually burn the paint if you don't know what you're doing. It gets that hot. Especially when you use it to remove glass, it gets a little tricky. But I have removed glass with it. Back windows, some side windows. I know you can remove windshields with it, but it's kind of hard for me personally with the glass being laminated. Anytime I've tried to remove a broken windshield, I've just broken it even more. So I quit doing windshields with it. I've left that to the professionals, but in any kind of tempered glass, it is a breeze to get glass in and out. You can have a window out in 10 minutes if you know what you're doing. So my next favorite tool is a polisher. It is the Flex PXE80. The thing I love most about the PXE80 is it's like 5 tools in one. You have these quick interchangeable heads that you can use with different throws. You can have a 1-inch pad, a 2-inch pad, a 3-inch pad. You can have a 3mm throw. You can have a 6mm throw. I think that's something new they just added. And it is a 12mm throw, and it can be a rotary. So you have all these different things that you can use and do with this polisher. And probably my favorite thing aside from that is that it's cordless. That was my first cordless polisher I bought. I want to say it'll be 5 years ago this summer that I bought that polisher. I thought about going cordless in my shop, and that was the first flex polisher I bought as well. And it just started the transition that all of my polishers, except for my rotary, are cordless. And hopefully that soon will change. I'm thinking about getting the DIY polishers as well. So we'll see how that works out. And I'm sure there will be videos on those as well. But for all intents and purposes, right now, my favorite polisher is the Flex PXE80. It's powerful. It's in all of my videos of anytime I'm polishing anything. Especially if you're spot sanding, like the job that I have right now. I'll be putting a video out on here very soon Guy took his Toyota Tacoma off-roading, and it had scratches in it deep enough that typical polishing wasn't going to remove the scratches. There was not a lot of clear coat on this thing. The total thickness between primer, base coat, and clear coat was anywhere from 3.6 to 4 mils. And I know as my paint, for my painting days that, you need a minimum of 2 mils of clear. So I had to be very careful because I was working on something that is very thin, and I went around and took out all of the aggressive ones with a 3-inch polisher with 3000 grit, and then I just lightly 3000 the whole panel with a 6-inch air-driven DA sander, also from my body shop days, and I polished the crap out of it. And what I used to polish it with is my next favorite tool. It's the Flex XCE gear-driven polisher. My only gripe about this polisher is that you're stuck with a 5-inch pad. But other than that, if you don't have the time or the budget to go with a rotary and then finish down with a DA or whatever your process is, you can kind of get the best of both worlds with the gear-driven polisher. And like the PXC80, which I forgot to mention, both these polishers, for both being cordless, have a ton of power. I use the XCE a lot. The other polishers in our shop are the XFEs. But in terms of my favorite tools, the XCE is my next favorite tool. And I'm not going to forget about interiors either. My favorite interior tool, especially with these impossible carpets, like just a simple vacuum doesn't do it anymore. It really doesn't. Even in the cargo areas, I find myself more and more reaching for this tool, and that is the Tornador Velocity Vac. It attaches to an airline and your shop vac, and this thing, takes vacuuming to a whole new level. It blows out dirt and sand and all kinds of crud that just simple vacuuming would not take out. And they also have one that you can use wet with a canister for shampooing. I haven't gotten that yet. I've been on the fence about trying one. As much as I love this one, I may try that yet. But that is another one of my favorite tools, is I find myself, in terms of pet hair. I mean, it's got so many uses. My only gripe about that tool, I wish Tornador, and I hope somebody from them is watching this video, they need a mini version of that thing, because you just can't get to all the nooks and crannies without removing seats and getting all of that nonsense. And let's be honest, we're not going to remove seats unless we're paid to do it. I mean, it's just, if you start removing seats on your details, I sure hope you're charging for it, because that is, in this day with airbags and seats and everything else, you got to disconnect the battery, you got to know what you're doing, and all that good stuff. And lastly, my favorite tool, and even while I'm shooting this video, am struggling to figure out what my next favorite tool is. I really, in some aspects, I really don't know, because those four stand out to me. And if I had to pick another tool that would be my favorite, it would most likely have to be, it's a good question. I just figured it out. My next favorite tool, as silly as it sounds, is a magic eraser. And everybody's gonna be like, a magic eraser? Yes, a magic eraser. My favorite thing to do with a magic eraser, and for anybody that's watching this video, I may give away one of my secrets here, but I have a magic eraser soaking in a bucket of water at all times. And what my favorite use with a magic eraser is when it comes to cleaning windshields. I grab the magic eraser out of the bucket, I squeeze it out, I spray the windshield on the inside, wipe down half of the windshield, and grab the micros I use for glass and wipe off the windshield. And you'd be amazed at the crud that you get to stick to that magic eraser. Everybody always asks me how I get windshields so spotless. And I use it on back windows a lot too. If it's, a back window in a sedan or maybe an SUV and the inside's been neglected for a few years, I may end up using that on the back window on the inside as well, because it's just as cruddy. But that is, just a great way to clean glass. You would be amazed how much easier it makes to clean windshields. So let's recap this real quick. My 5 favorite tools. It's the inductor, which removes decals, badges, pinstripes, you name it. The Flex PXE80, which is a very multi-use tool. The Flex XCE gear-driven polisher. I freaking love that thing. Number 4 on this list was the Tornador Velocity Vac. Freaking love that thing. And lastly, the Magic Eraser. It was really hard to try to figure out what my top 5 favorite tools were, because I'd never really thought about it. And, I was glad to see that this was a topic that came up, so it really made me think about it. And I can't wait to hear what everybody else in this contest, what their top 5 favorite tools are, or whatever their top 5 list is. I hope everybody enjoyed watching this video. We're getting ready to move my shop to Texas. That's going to happen next week. So my videos may be a little on the fly, maybe not as elaborate, but I'm going to do my best. Once again, my name is John. We're Knight in Shining Armor, paint correction, ceramic coatings, and detailing. Thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button as well as the subscribe button. That puts us in the algorithm and gets our videos seen even more. Have a great weekend, y'all. See you next week.